right. You want to learn about how to write a schedule today? Probably why people aren't here. They're like, I don't want to plan. I don't want to have a schedule, or I have one and I don't need one. Cool. I like it. Either way, we're going to talk about how to plan and write a schedule and get it all done, because this question actually was something that came to me, and it was like, tell me how you get everything done. Does anyone here feel overwhelmed with a calendar? How many? Okay, if you're at EXP, okay, let's just talk real quick. If you're at EXP, like, how do you struggle with like which calls to get on? Because you have a call here, go to this call, go to this call, go to this call, go to this call, take this CE, take this class, take this course, take this. And you sign up for coaching, and then you have like 5 group calls a week, and you have like, there's so many things, right? But like the calls are awesome because we all like to learn. That's why you're here with me every week, is because you like to learn. But if we're only ever learning and we're never implementing, we're literally just entertaining ourselves. And it was Jesse Zagorski who told me, he was one who said that so loud and clear. He was like, education without implementation is just entertainment. So we are here today to talk about how to actually put time on your calendar to implement the things that you're actually learning, right? Doesn't that sound like fun? Actually implementing? I love it. Okay, so I'm going to maybe open up my blinds a little bit, because it's so pretty outside, but like the sun it rises right there in front of my computer. And so if I have it weird, it's going to be all shadowy. Okay, so we might change it. All right. Okay, so let's go into this. So I want to tell you, there's a few things to think about when you're writing a schedule. First of all, I have 3 things that I always put into my schedule that take priority over everything else. And I can actually look at it like this. This is how I categorize my time. Okay. I categorize my time into personal time. I categorize my time into money-making time. And I categorize my time into learning time. So there are only 3 categories of time on my calendar. Personal, and it's in this order, by the way. This is how I schedule my time, in this order: personal, money-making, and learning. So let's go over what I consider personal time. I think I actually have a copy of my personal time calendar here. Maybe hold on. I was actually going to try to get this pulled up before I got on here, but I don't think I had a chance, because sometimes that happens. I have a accountability call literally right before this, and sometimes I just don't get off on time. Calendar management. Andy is on the call. I'm going to ask Andy to find the link for calendar management in Notion and then ping it to me in our separate private chat, please, because I cannot dig through it right now. I don't want to waste time doing that. So Andy, if you could please do that, would be great. So I'll show you what my calendar looks like. So personal time, before I get that link, let's just talk through. Okay, personal time is, I know some of you have probably heard this before, it's always my beauty appointments. Okay, beauty, I do not sacrifice my beauty appointments. Okay, that is very, very, very important to me. Yes, my vanity is important. Okay, just know my friends and I laugh all the time about our vanity. It's fine. Okay, but on top of that, what's also important in there is going to be my gym time. How many of you know that I'm very, very regimented about my working out? It's because it is scheduled into my calendar every single day. You know what else is in my personal calendar is sleep. Andy, could you just put that in our personal Google chat? Oh, you got it here. Never mind. She put it in direct. Thank you. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So personal time is going to be my gym time. It's going to be the time that I eat every day. It is going to be the time that I spend with my husband. It is going to be time that I sleep. It is going to be time that I read. Yes, I schedule this all into my calendar. I'm going to show you what my calendar looks like today, and you're going to get overwhelmed because there's a lot of colors, but I'll show it to you after I talk about all this, okay? And then it'll help you make more sense. So personal time. So anything personal. And that is probably, if I look at my calendar, the great thing about Google Calendar is it actually like separates it for you, and it tells you how much of your calendar is actually personal versus, here, I'm going to show this to you just so you can see it real quick. and then I'll go over it in a second. But my personal time is 93 hours of my week, by the way. 93 hours. That's a lot, right? But guess what? I'm a very balanced person, and people do not butt into my personal time. So personal time is first and foremost the number one thing that I schedule for. That includes lunch breaks. That includes sleep time. That includes time to spend with my husband, time to go to the gym, time to read, personal time. And the reason why I schedule my personal time first and foremost is because that is you guys, if you have something personal on your calendar, will you very often let something else interfere with that? Probably. I mean, I don't. Like if I have personal client on my calendar, I don't let clients come into that. I don't let work come in. I'm very protective of my time. I'm more protective of my personal time than I am of my work time. So the reason I put personal first and foremost is because I can practice saying no. I can practice setting boundaries because I'm very, very, very protective of my personal time. So if you are not as protective of your personal time, I'm going to encourage you to please take that away from this call, to be more protective of your personal time. Because without that time that I need every night to read a book, and I'm going to tell you, it is even like with my husband, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go upstairs. He knows that's a signal for, I'm going to go upstairs and I want to read. I want to read. I want silence and I want to read. Because at the end of the day, after I have given all my energy to everyone else, it is time for Lynea to take her energy for herself. And it's also time for Lynea to have her own time in the morning. So all of that time in the morning. So 93 hours a week of my scheduled time is personal time. So that's the number one thing. The second thing I do is then I plan for money-making activity. What is money-making activity? Anybody? Sorry, Tuma, go ahead.
Yeah. Calling the clients, calling the database and calling the world referrals, all those things. Yeah.
Prospecting, calling. Have any of you ever heard of Brian Tracy? You know who he is? He's kind of an old school coach. Back in the day, I grew up in the real estate business. I grew up with a mom in real estate. So all of the old school coaches I am so very, very familiar with. I grew up listening to Brian Tracy as a kid in the car. Yeah. Okay. Brian Tracy says the number one most valuable asset that you have is your thinking time. Mm-hmm. That is the number one activity that you are going to do that is going to make you the most money. The doing is important, but you as the business owner are way more valuable in the thinking time. That's why people hire. That's why you see people hire ISAs, we hire VAs, we hire admins, we hire people to help to be the doers. Because you, as the business owner, are way more valuable in the thinking time. So therefore, money-making activity is thinking time. So I'm going to show you on my calendar what that looks like right now. It is called creative time. So I call it creative days. So creative days are Mondays and Wednesdays. These are days that I do not take appointments. I do not take appointments on Mondays, especially. Sometimes Wednesdays will be kind of that we'll kind of let that go a little bit. But Mondays, I do not take appointments. And this is what I'm doing on Mondays. I am creating content. I am thinking. I am building systems. I am improving processes. I am analyzing my team. I am planning my money. I do not take appointments on Mondays. Clients do not get my attention on Monday, whether they're a coaching client or a real estate client. They do not get my attention on Mondays. Because I look at it like this. I want to start out my week generating income, generating revenue. And if I don't do it at the beginning of the week, all the other things like prospecting, calling people back, coaching calls, come to this call, come to this CE, do all this thing, all of that's going to get in the way. So if I don't do that at the beginning of the week, I'm basically setting up my entire week for failure, in my opinion. So for me, my Mondays are totally reserved. I got asked to be on a call on Monday, and it is an exception that I made to my Mondays, but I typically do not take Mondays for appointments. So that's the number one. That's the number two thing is money making activity. Then throughout the week, I have what is called thinking time every morning. So you'll notice here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every morning from 8 to 10. You've heard me talk about this before. That is my prime time. I am at peak right now. My brain is like, yeah, let's go. If I don't get it done by 10 a.m., it's probably not going to happen. So therefore, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 8 to 10 is thinking time. Again, no appointments during thinking time. No appointments. Thinking time. This is time that I reserve for strategy, answering questions that are looming in my brain and making room to create more leverage in my business. Because I want more leverage. I want to have more time. I want to have more personal time. 93 hours a week is not enough for me. It's not. I want more. And so to make that happen, I have to schedule time to actually think about how to do that. So those are my money-making activities. So creativity on Mondays. Wednesdays, what I'm typically doing on Wednesdays these are the days where I'm like, okay, I am going to kind of catch up on the things that I had started on Monday, or maybe I'm going to actually start implementing some of the projects that I was thinking on Monday. That's what Wednesdays are. Okay. So money-making activity, that is thinking time. Brain. Use your brain. You have an amazing, powerful brain. Let it work for you. Okay. Then you'll notice, I'll show you Tuesday and Thursday again. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are my connection days. Those are the days that are reserved for clients. Those are the days that I take coaching calls. I work with my actual clients. I'll show clients home. I'll go out and do showings on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. I'll do showings on Saturdays. I'll go to listing appointments Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sometimes Fridays. Friday's a free day. So Friday, I kind of let that go. I depend what I want to do. I don't have a rule for Friday, basically. Friday's up to Lynea. Lynea's free day. Okay. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are the days that I'm prospecting. Those are the days that I'm calling back. Those are the days that I'm doing all the things, doing the things and connecting with people. I call them connection days. There's also money-making activity. They're just a different type of money-making activity. Right? Because you have to talk to people to make money. Let's be real. You can't. It'd be great to be like, yeah, I'm going to think all the time. Your money's just going to come to me. That's not actually how it works, right? We actually have to talk to people. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day that I do that. So I spend 2 days a week prospecting or coaching or connecting. That's all I do. Okay. Then from there, that's when I say, okay, I've got my personal time. I've got my money-making time. Now I'm going to put in a coaching call. Now I'm going to put in some learning activity. And, this is ideal. This is in the ideal world, because let's be real. If you're taking a CE class, you don't get to choose what day the CE class is on. You kind of have to go with whatever day they want. But that's why you have a framework, a schedule framework, because then you get to go ahead and plug things in and move them around. But if you're just constantly scheduling your little time between everyone else's priorities for you to actually get things done or actually do the things that are going to make you more money, that's where you struggle with your calendar. You got to work it the other way around. So here's a couple of ideas for you. I would say you want to start out with this is what I have for my team. So I have calendar rules. So these calendar rules are rules that they need to follow. And it's great training, because I'm like, okay, well, let me show you. If you want to learn to manage my calendar, here's the things that you need to think about. And you need to set these rules for yourself, even if you don't have anyone else managing your calendar. They need to be for you. Because like I told you, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no appointments. My calendar and phone are on do not disturb from 8 to 10 every day. So they know, don't bother me between 8 and 10. Tuesdays and Thursdays, appointments are only taken on these days. No appointments before 10 or after 4. Rules. These are rules that I set for myself. And these are now rules that I can teach other people so they know how to respect my time too. Meetings need to end at 20 or 50 to allow for a 10-minute buffer. Or we need to do a 15-minute and between each meeting. Because the one thing I hate is back-to-back meetings. I can't do it. Can't do it. Especially when it's someone who needs my attention. Because it's not fair to that person for me to just go back to back to back would not give me any break for attention. It's not fair to that person. Then if I have in-person appointments, I also schedule drive time, by the way. So if you guys have listing appointments or you have personal appointments, make sure to schedule drive time on your calendar. So depending on where it's at, like if I have 3 cities on my calendar, that's a 30-minute drive time in city or a couple cities outside, and everything else is at least an hour drive time because I know Seattle traffic. And sometimes it might only take me 20 minutes, but I got myself a little bit more time, right? So you got to schedule drive time. And that's something that I think a lot of people miss, especially when you're going to listing appointments, is scheduling that drive time because you have to account for that in your preparation time. So if you're planning for a listing appointment, it's at 2:00, it's going to take you an hour and you're not planning 2 days in advance for that listing appointment. You're doing it the morning of. The last thing you want is to spend that entire morning trying to prep for one appointment. So if you can work backwards from your calendar, it's going to help you get ahead of this stuff. Okay, so let's see, go back into rules. So write rules like this down. Like this is why thinking time is really important. This is why I get all so much done because I spend so much time thinking. Okay, I want my email cleared out by 10 a.m. So by the time I go in to check my email at 10, I don't want anything in my inbox that I don't actually have to action on. So if you're your own person and you don't have anyone else monitoring your inbox, this is going to be a little different for you. Like you need to set times that you're going to check your email. And what are you doing at that time? Like at your first email check, are you just clearing it out, getting rid of all the junk, and then seeing what actions you need to take? And then maybe at the second email hour of the day, you're actually responding to people. Because the reality is, a lot of us, it's really easy. This was me for a very long time. I would get stuck in my email inbox. I would check my email at 8:00 in the morning, and that would be all I would do all day long. How many of you have been there? Check your email, and that's all you do all day long because all of a sudden the world is on fire, and we forget that real estate is not going to explode unless the house is actually literally burning down. People can wait for a response. So that's why I have 2 times a day that I check my email. It is up to my team, my admin, to have my email inbox completely free and clear of clutter. That's their job. My job is to action the things that I have to action on, and that's it. So if you don't have an admin, your first email of the day, let me just tell you again, your first email hour of the day, I don't check mine till 10 a.m. I have no idea what's in my inbox right now. Your first email check of the day should be get the clutter out, get rid of all the junk, all the marketing. And even the marketing that you want to read, don't read it first in the morning. Put that for later. Save it, have a folder or a label that's like read for later. Okay. Clear all the clutter out and find the emails that you actually need to action on right now. So those are like responses from clients, right? You have drip campaigns and people, I want you to come over and sell my house. Okay, action that one. Action that one right away, right? Show that you're responsive. You have a review that came in from Google. You want to respond to that immediately. So action on that one. But if you have like a deadline or something that's 2 days from now, you don't need to action that first thing in the morning. That can be the second email action of the day, the second check of the day. So don't spend the entire day in the email inbox and don't start out your day with email. So you notice that's why the first 2 hours of my day are thinking time. That's how I get so much done. Okay, let me finish these calendar rules for you. So do some rules like this. I promise you, it's really fun. Okay, next is daily block for the team to bring issues to me. So I don't my team talks to me on Google Chat. I do not respond right away because that is not my priority. If I am in the middle of doing something, I won't respond. So there's a block, and I will tell them I'll respond to you between X time or by this time. Right? Just like my clients. My clients know, look, if you text me before 10 a.m., you probably are not going to get a response until after 10:30. Just so you know. They know that. And if you text me after 5, you might get a response today, but you might not, depending on the severity or the urgency of the question. So they know. And then I also tell my clients that if they email me after 5, they're guaranteed a response by 10 a.m. the next morning. And that response comes from my admin who's like, hey, we've got your response. If she can't answer the call, It needs to be, it's a quick response. We got your email. Lynea will respond between 10:30 and 11. So it's very simple like that. You can even have like an auto reply. If you don't have an admin, just put an auto reply up there and set the rule. Emails that come in between this time and this time, send this response. Okay. It's really easy. Okay. And then, I have rules for how I want vendor partners. How many of you have like lenders or title reps that want to meet with you all the time? Let me help you get business. Let me do this. Let me show you how to do marketing all the time. It's great. I love it. But I prefer only, by the way, to have video calls. I don't actually like in-person meetings for those unless it's someone that I really want to partner with. And I only prefer 30 minutes max. I prefer a 15-minute meeting. A lot of things happen when you do this, when you set these kind of boundaries for partners, is you get higher demand for partners, by the way. Because if you're giving them all the time in the world, what are you telling them? You don't have a lot of business. But if you say, hey, you know what? I can fit you in here. We have a 30-minute block between this time and this time. What would you prefer? You start to create a demand for your services. So you start to get more requests. And then you get to be the one who's very particular about who you actually take meetings with. Pretty cool. I like it. And then everyone should have, I give everyone a link to book time on my calendar. The only person who's allowed to put time on my calendar directly is my admin. Everyone else on my calendar everyone else has to book it through my calendar links. So I have calendar links for everything. So create rules like this for yourself, because that is how, when someone asks me, how do I plan and get all the things done? This is exactly how. Because I block my time in order of priority. Personal, money making, learning. Okay. Rima, how do you schedule listing appointments with clients who work during the day and you aren't taking appointments after 4? I make exceptions. I also take appointments on Saturdays. So that's where you just have to, you've got to set boundaries. You've got to set boundaries. Like if you don't have boundaries, your business is going to run you. Your clients are going to run you. You are going to be on their schedule. So I tell people, look, I take appointments between, 2 and 4. I have availability on this day. Does that work for you? Again, remember how I said the thing about vendor partners? The less, like when you give them options, it creates a higher demand. It's exactly what happens with your clients too. It's a weird mindset shift. It's kind of weird at the beginning. It's a very scarcity feeling at the beginning. Like, oh my God, I don't want the listing appointment to go anywhere. I really want the listing. Oh my gosh, I gotta make it work. Okay. It's a very scarcity feeling in the beginning. It really is. And it was really, I say that out of experience because I've been there. But when I decided to shift my mind and I said, you know what? This is my business. I got on this to create a life for myself and my husband, not for everyone else. And this is how a business owner runs a business. What does a doctor say when you want to come in after hours? No. Or go ahead, go call 911. There you go. There's your option. Or, yeah, you can, but we're going to charge you double the premium. Okay. You guys want to get paid as much as a doctor, as much as a lawyer? Look what they do. Lawyers are the exact same way. So start acting like it. Start acting like you are a business owner, and your business will start working for you. Angel says, if your calendar is blocked, how do you use Calendly? So my calendar is blocked in color, but on the actual time, it says free. So it's because it's blocked in color, so I can see it because the visual lets me know this is what it's for. But the availability will show free, so anyone can go in and actually book on those days because Calendly is still set up for those particular blocks on my calendar.
So how do you do that? Do you have to have workspace, or
what do you mean? How do I do what?
How do you just block it with color without blocking out the time?
So on Google Calendar, I don't really use any other calendar, so I can't help you with any other one. But on Google Calendar, you just go and put in create event. And let's say I put free time. Okay. And I put Friday, I want to say free from 8:30 to 9:30. I choose my color. So here's the color that I want. Oops. But then down here, see where it says busy? I just put free.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Calendly reads that as free time because Calendly is scheduled. Calendly is set up to read time that's blocked. So you'll notice on these days, like creative days, this will say busy. So someone can't come in and book on Monday or Wednesday.
I love this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone feeling inspired to go and write some calendar rules?
I am. I just have to say, Lynea, this is probably the best version of time blocking that I've seen. Like it fits the way that I think better than any other way that I've seen. And I've struggled with the time blocking for a couple of years because I've been trying to do it in the way that other people probably, I don't know. Anyway, other ways that weren't working so clearly for me. And I like this because also the chunks are bigger. And so it feels like I don't have to, in my creative time, I don't have to say, I'm doing 45 minutes for this social media post and 45 minutes for this thing. It's like, okay, if it takes 30 minutes or it takes an hour and 15, it's all in that block. And I don't know, I really like it. I feel like it sort of speaks to me more than other ways that I've seen. So thank you for that.
Yay, I'm glad it helped. I think what really like kind of helped me figure this out was I get very distracted. I get very distracted.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when someone comes in and I'm really heads down on a project and I'm like, okay, and then all of a sudden someone pings me or sends me a text or an email or something comes up and I have to shift my focus from something, I won't get back to that project for about a week.
Yep. Same.
So I found that like trying to plug in prospecting power hour every day was not working for me because it's hard for me. And plus I like to coach too, right? So like for me, coaching and running a real estate business, they're a little two different sort of mindsets. I have to wear two different hats. And so for me, I found that trying to wear the hat of being a real estate agent and doing the things like prospecting, calling people and this and that, like it was too hard to try to balance that on the same day. Like it can't. So like, that's why I have connection days. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to my clients and my clients, I can think of my clients. It doesn't matter which client they are, real estate or coaching. It doesn't matter. I'm talking to my clients today. So I'm glad it helped. I hope, let me know how it works. If you try it, let me know how it works for you. Cause I think it was really helpful for me. So Linda.
Yes, thanks. Good morning. Can you show your calendar again? I wanted to ask you a question about, I saw a presentation once before where if something comes up, you could move your block. Do you, like, say, for example, like you said, you had something on a Monday that you volunteered to where you normally block it out. So instead of not doing it, you would move it you could move that block to another area.
Yep. I would do like, let's say, a CE class. Like, that's the only thing I can think of because C is really uncontrollable. You can't, the only thing you control is whether or not you take it, but you can't control the time of it. So let's say you have a CE class that's on a Monday. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to move that block to Wednesday. Right. So I'll just move that to Wednesday. So now Monday becomes CE. This Wednesday becomes this. Or I move it to Friday and I say, you know what? I don't have a free day. That's the great thing about having a free day in your calendar is that your free day is a free day. It's literally that. You can do whatever you want on that day. So you can just move things back and forth, whichever way works best for you.
Oh, okay. You just pick it up and move it. So to create those blocks, you just went up to the plus sign, did your color, and then was there a box for like all weeks?
Yeah. So if you wanted to like create if you're using Google Calendar, if you want to create something event, and you would go here where the date comes in, and you would click where it says do not repeat. You're going to click recurring. And I usually do custom. every week on Monday and Wednesday, if I wanted to do, like, let's say this is a free day or a creative day, Monday, Wednesday, and I'm just going to click never end, right? And then it's just going to automatically pull up for me every day, Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 10. It's going to have that block.
Okay, great. Perfect. That's what I needed. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I use Google Calendar. I think it's really easy to use, but I mean, pretty much any calendar will work, right? You can use Outlook, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to use Google. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions on this, let me know. But I'll see if we'll get a screenshot of the calendar for you, and we'll put it into. Actually, I don't know. Andy, do you know? Is there a way to share? Because this is a sample calendar. Because my other calendar has a couple of other different colors on it, so I always share this one. Is there a way, Andy, that I can share just the link to this, like in the Facebook group, so people can view it?
Yep, there's actually a way we can do that where they can just view your calendar and they can like add something to it.
Okay. So what we'll do is when we'll go in and we'll have that link shared in the Facebook group for you. So if you want to pull up this calendar and just kind of look at it for yourself, you are welcome to do so. Jean has her hand raised.
Yeah, hi, Lynea. Okay, I was trying to find out. I saw that you had your personal time, your money making time, your learning time. Where are you fitting in your task, like your video emails and different things like that? And is all of that included on one calendar, or are they on different calendars?
So those are connection days. So if it's like a video text message, like I'm doing video follow-ups with people, that's a connection day. Those are connection days. If it's like I'm writing an email campaign and I have to create the videos for it, that's on creative day. So it just depends on what the purpose of it is.
Okay, so but all of it is itemized on one calendar. You just haven't titled that.
Yeah, and then so what I'll do, like here, I can show you what my calendar looks like in real time. So in real time, what happens is I will go in, like let's say during my no appointments thinking time day. Yeah, so that's why I showed you the other one. This is a little bit more in depth colors, and this is way more advanced. So that's why I share this one. But you'll see, like in my thinking time, for example, this is where I actually prioritize what's getting done specifically during this. So I have building a new website. I have a new website coming out for all my EXP organizations. So I'm actually working on the brainstorming of that right now. So I go into each of these cards and I update what I'm doing during that week or during that time. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So on the side, is it giving you a task, or do you just have to click on each box?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
You
can create a task if you want. I don't, but you can create tasks. Like Google Calendar allows you to. So like you could go in and let's see here. I don't know if you can create tasks within here, but I usually just create either a note. You could create a meeting note. It's going to show up as a Google Doc with a checklist if you want to do it that way. But I usually just do, let me show you one that I just recently updated. So every other week I have a money planning date with myself. This is how I manage my money. And this is what I do. I go in, I'm like, okay, here's the things that are happening Monday or this way. I have a money tracker, got to update that. Here's what I got. Here's all the payroll I got to run. And then I just put a line through it or cross it off. And then I move whatever's on to the next event and then add to it. So like in like my creative days or my connection days, I'd be like HomeBot calls, right? Like, because every Monday I get my HomeBot digest and tells me who's active in HomeBot. So I'm not going to call those people on Monday, but on Tuesdays, I have that plugged into my connection days, 7 HomeBot calls. Or like you could create a task list with inside Follow Up Boss, and you could be like, so you could link that task list to your calendar. But that's how I do it. That's how I manage it. Is I go back and forth and I add in the specific tasks within that calendar. So if I ever have questions about what I'm doing during the block, I've taken my time on Saturday or Sunday the previous week and I planned it all out. Okay, Facebook group. And Andy, can you pull up the Facebook group and put the Facebook group link in the chat, please, for Rima? Okay. There you go. Hope that helps, everybody. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
Good. There you go. So Rima, Andy just put the Facebook group there for you. So if you're not in there, please join. I would love to see you in there. We'll get the replay posted as soon as we have it. We'll get the calendar link posted for you. And I will see you all soon. And then Molly, I will send you a separate message. Bye. See you next week.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.